Thank you so much for choosing to be part of the Takeover with Sumaiya, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about my journey as a Google Developer Student Club lead. So my journey began on 11th May when I entered one of the labs we use for our lectures and found 3 students discussing about Google developers. I didn't know a lot about this club, so I didn't know about how they select their leaders and every other thing about it. All I knew about the club was that it organizes study jams, because my very first encounter with this club was during the Android study jams, which I participated in. So these students, there were 3 students. One was Hussein Akuguzibwe, who later happened to be part of my core team, then Nasasira Daniel, and Wesley Kambale, who happened to be lead by then. They told me about the club and what was really required for someone to apply. Wesley told me to apply as well as the other boys. So it was me, Daniel, and some other 2 students that applied. I actually submitted my real application form on 11th when the deadline was 15th. So after applying, I had to wait. Then I later received an email around July, and I was supposed to schedule an interview. I had to select the dates, which happened to be 12th July at around 2 to 3 p.m. So I scheduled the interview, and the lady who interviewed me is called Isha Tripathi, one of Google employees, Google India. She was really a nice one compared to what I expected. I was really nervous on that day. I remember I was prepared with my data and laptop, but when I started the interview call, my laptop updated up. It started making a certain funny noise, and the interviewer told me to leave the call, go get some other device to use, and join the call again. I was really shaking. Now I had to resort to using my phone. I joined the call again. She asked me a few questions. Wesley, the lead by then, had really mentored me, but I still felt nervous. I thought I didn't have enough for that interview. I managed to answer all the questions and decided to wait for what would come out of that interview. So later on, as days went on 11th August, that was 2021, I received an email. Guess what? Sumaiya had gone through. I was excited. I remember Mom wasn't home. She was at work, so I forwarded to her the email. She wasn't clearly understanding what I was showing her, because I didn't tell any of my family members that I had applied for that position. Not even some of my close friends knew about this. None of my siblings had ever seen me dancing, but I was really dancing that evening. It was really a happy moment for me. Fast forward, I was onboarded on 25th August. That's when you get to meet leads from other universities, other countries in sub-Saharan Africa. We were onboarded, told about what we were supposed to do, and every other little thing. From then, I had to start organizing events. I had to organize an info session. Given that we were in a lockdown, I had to organize a virtual info session. That was my very first event, and it was really a nice one, but still as nervous. I didn't know how to speak to people. I didn't know what to tell the students. I literally didn't know anything, but I had to catch up with time. Later on, I organized a series of events, not me alone. Of course, I had selected a core team that is composed of 7 members. Me, the colleague who happens to be Nasasira Daniel. I had applied with him, but he didn't go through, so I really had to consider him on my core team. Then Hussein Akuguzibwe, Simre Rebecca, Mujuni Ivan, Aronga Joshua Jerry, and the faculty advisor who happens to be Mr. Kimera Richard. That was my team. We organized a lot of events, both physical and virtual, and I really think we did our best. In every journey, you have to encounter challenges, you encounter highs and lows. So among the challenges I faced on this journey was not being able to get speakers for events. You're going to organize an event, maybe a Flutter study jam, and you will really find it hard to get a speaker, because personally, you would talk to someone and be like, are you going to be available on this and this time to speak to students about Flutter, teach them this and this? and someone be like, the only time I'm available is this, maybe a Thursday, yet the time the event is scheduled for is a Friday. So you now have to look for a different person to fit in that schedule. It was really hard. Sometimes you would get a speaker and they just turn you down on the very last moment. Challenge number 2 is getting students to know about these clubs, because not every student is interested in clubs. Most students think good developer student clubs are for students who do code, yet it's a different thing. These clubs are about students who are interested in Google developer technology. So it was really a challenge for me to influence students into participating in these club activities. So on this journey, I've been able to learn about very many things. At least I've learned a thing or two from each and everyone I've met. I've really met several people. I've interacted with a lot of people and I've learned a lot from them. One of the things I've learned is to be patient. I've been a leader before, but this position has really opened my eyes up. I've learned to be patient. So one of the lessons I've learned is how to communicate. During the first months of me taking on this position, I was lucky to be invited by the lead of the Google Developer Student Club of Midland State University, Gweru, Zimbabwe. It was a challenge to me because I had not spoke on an event which was going to be attended by basically developers. I had spoke on events which were about some other things, not tech, so this was really a challenge for me. But I got to learn how to speak. I later spoke on some other events and it was really interesting. I've learned how to network. I've always not been a social person, but being a lead, you have to be social. You have to learn how to interact and talk to other people. So it's during these physical meetups and workshops that I got to learn how to socialize. I remember there was a dev fest and there were students from almost all tech communities in Mbarara, and I really had to talk to these students. I had to know who they are. They had to know who I am, so that maybe as we get along, we can be able to help one another in different ways. The other thing I've learned is to be confident. If I'm to rate my confidence out of 100, I used to be like 45% confident, but with Google Developer Student Clubs, I'm now, I don't want to rate where I am, but at least I've improved compared to how I used to be. As a lead, we always have weekly calls, office hours, so being able to speak in a community of over 100 people listening has really boosted my confidence, and I'm really grateful for this. I would really want to appreciate the people that walked this journey with me ever since I became a GDSC lead. One of those people happens to be our program manager, Mr. Muhammad Samu, also known as Auwal. He has really been a nice man. He has really been responsive. You'll send him a message late in the night asking him about something and he will really be helpful. He will respond as fast as he can. Then there is also Aniedi. He works together with Auwal. He has also been helpful on this journey. The other person I'd love to appreciate is Miss Janet Namutebi. This was the very first person who spoke on our info session. This was our very first event as the GDSC Mass 2021-2022. She never declined the offer to speak on our event, it being a lockdown, and given that she was working and we were home, she never declined this offer, and I don't take this for granted. The other person I would like to appreciate is Mr. Kimera Richard. He has been a faculty advisor. He has really guided me, and one thing I learned from Kimera was to always communicate, because I used to be this kind of person who will create an event, get the speaker, get everything done, but not telling my core team members about what we are going to have. So one thing I learned was to always communicate, decide as a team, then host an event. The other person I would love to appreciate is Kambale Wesley. This happens to be the previous lead. He really laid a good foundation for me and for the upcoming leads. He mentored me even before I could go for these interviews, and he really did a good job. The other group of people I'm going to mention are my core team members. I mentioned their names already, so I'm not going to repeat this, but they did a good job. These guys really helped me out where I couldn't do anything. And before I forget, I would also want to appreciate all the people that helped me with their venues whenever I wanted to host events. Brian, the manager, Hive Collab, Mbarara, he was really helpful in helping me get a place where I can host events. And also the lab attendants of mass computer laboratories, they're also helpful. The other people I would love to appreciate are leads from Ugandan universities. They would give me ideas on which kind of event I would host and during what period of time. So there's that unity, and I just pray it continues to happen with the next leads to come. And lastly, I would like to appreciate the students who showed up for these club's activities. I hope you learned a thing from all these events, and I hope you encourage other students to always show up for these events. Last but not least, I would like to thank my family. It has really been supportive, and my close friends, because being a GDSC lead comes with a lot of stress, and if you don't have someone who can help you relieve the stress, then I really don't know what will ever happen. If you're out there and you are interested in leading a Google Developer Club at your university, or you're interested in creating one, then feel free to reach out to the GDSC community website. I'm going to drop the link in the description. And if you need to know anything about the club, feel free to send me a DM. My social media handles are in the description below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching up to the end of this video. If this was your first time here, feel free to hit the subscribe button. And if you've always been here, feel free to share, like, and comment. Otherwise, thank you so much. Bye.